I'm Greg Pallas, Support Manager at DRMS. I'm excited today to show you 3 new traits that CDCB has just released. Not only have they just released them, but DRMS has also provided them already for you. Those 3 new traits are first service to conception and resistance to respiratory problems and resistance to diarrhea. To further evaluate those traits, you can go to our website, go to HerdHQ, and select DairyDepot. If you're in DART, click on the HerdHQ icon and then select DairyDepot. Once you're in DairyDepot, over on the left, you will see several dashboards. I already have a genetics dashboard, and a genetics dashboard is a default. If you don't already have this information, please feel free to contact our computer support and we can help you add that. But let's look at this genetic summary by animal type. Here we have it broken out by cows and heifers. As we scroll down, we'll see the different genetic information that's available. We'll start seeing the net merits, the production data, and then we'll start seeing some repro. So here we see first service to conception. Cows are listed at a positive 1.3, and heifers are listed at 3.6. The first service to conception PTA predicts the lactating cow's genetic ability to conceive after her first insemination. This is measured as the number of days from first service to conception. FSC is not a function of the voluntary waiting period, so it is not based upon if a herd happens to have extended or custom voluntary waiting periods. And a positive PTA indicates fewer days to conception and is more desirable. So this reflects individual cow response to modern reproductive management practices. It also complements daughter pregnancy rate and cow conception rate by providing an interval-based measure of conception efficiency. As we continue scrolling down, we'll start seeing some health traits. And then at the very bottom, we will see the diarrhea and respiratory. Raising replacement animals is one of the costliest aspects of dairy production, and calf foot disease can make it even more expensive. CDCB has now implemented the first national selection traits to address calf health concerns with resistance to diarrhea and resistance to respiratory problems. Health challenges experienced early in life can have lasting effects on the dairy animal's productivity, livability, and health later in life. Respiratory disease is one of the 2 most common causes of dairy health mortality, and diarrhea is also a common cause of dairy health mortality. The health data is all based upon the information provided by producers with the permission released by the DRPCs to CDCB. DRMS is very pleased to be able to say that most of the health data provided to CDCB does come from DRMS and the producers, obviously. So we encourage all producers to record as much health data as possible and also make sure that data is available to CDCB for this genetic evaluation. As we further evaluate the 3 new traits, we see a graph of health traits by year of birth. Multiple different health traits are listed here. If we want to see the diarrhea and respiratory, we just need to add those 2 traits, and we can remove the previous ones if we'd like. So here we see where the diarrhea and respiratory and the changes based upon the animals that were born in each of these years. To further evaluate the first service to conception, we also have a graph that shows the other reproductive traits. And as we can see, this herd has improved over the past years and is very closely correlated to daughter pregnancy rate, heifer conception rate, and cow conception rate. There are 2 charts that are available that list the genetic information for cows as well as for heifers. As we move through those charts, we'll start seeing some ID information, net merit values, production data, and then we will start to see some of the reproductive information. And here we see first service to conception. Similar with the heifer data, we scroll through, we'll see the production data, repro data, and then we start to see some of the health data. And then including some of the other traits, the type traits. So if we go back, we will now see the health data with the diarrhea as well as the respiratory. One of the helpful things is you can sort based upon those values. So if we sort on first services to conception, and let's look at one of these top cows. Let's look at 9219. If we click on the eye, it will bring up her cow page in CowCompass. There's multiple tabs to evaluate and to look at the cow. If we look at the genetics tab, we see that value of first service to conception is 12.2. And over here is the diarrhea and respiratory evaluations. If we look at the breeding tab, we'll see that the cow is in her third lactation and she's only had one service to conception for each lactation, as well as when she was a heifer. So this particular case, the cow's genetic value directly reflects what actually is happening. So if we go back to DairyDepot and we resort again, and now let's look at this bottom cow here, 8369. There's that genetics tab, and we see a minus 10.4 for first service to conception. And here's her diarrhea and respiratory information. We look at the breeding tab, and we see she also is in her third lactation, except she has had 6 services for her third lactation, 8 services in her second lactation, 3 services for her first, and 2 as a heifer. So her genetic information is also a direct reflection of what actually happened as far as the number of services and the length of time from her first service to when she actually did conceive. If you would like additional information about these 3 new traits, please visit the CDCB website. There is some educational information about these traits. Once again, they are FSC, first service to conception, DIA, response to resistance to diarrhea, RSP, which is resistance to respiratory problems. If you would like additional information on any of our HerdHQ or any DRMS products and how to help you set up your dashboards or better understand some of the information that is available to you as a producer or as a consultant, please contact our support. We also will have virtual co-op ed visits available if you'd like that. Thank you for reviewing these new traits. And at DRMS, we're backed by data and built for action. Thank you.